heard the most famous quote that goes like this: confidence is good, but overconfidence always sinks the ship. You know, when I was competing back in the day, I have experienced overconfidence issue multiple times throughout my sporting career. And the result? It always led to poor performance or probably the worst performances of my life. And I'm 100% sure all the professional athletes have experienced overconfidence issue multiple times throughout their sporting career. Thus, in this video, I will be talking about exclusively how to overcome overconfidence. But before we dive into the topic, if you are new to my channel and you haven't yet subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe the channel. Also press the bell icon down there so that you will be notified with all my latest videos. Coming up. Hello champs, I hope you're doing well. So before I tell you how to overcome overconfidence, let me share you one of my personal story if that's okay. I remember back in the day when I was competing, I think it was under 16, I had two competitions back to back. So the first competition, I was the winner of under 16 singles tournament, and second tournament that I was competing, I was seeded number 3. So I had my first main draw against unseeded player. And I was doing warm up and I was getting prepped up for my competition, first round. Okay, so my coach comes and he asked me, whom are you playing against? What is the status? So I tell him that I'm playing against an unseeded player. I've never heard her name. I don't know who she is. So I think it's better that you go have your lunch. So it was probably, I think, 1:30 p.m. So I request my coach to, go have lunch. And by the time you are done with the lunch, the match will be done. And, I'm anyways playing against an unseeded player. So, it shouldn't be a big deal. I'm going to thrash it out anyways in 10 minutes. So, it's not a big deal. You can go have your lunch and I will join you later. Then he thought that it is my confidence and he left. And then my match started. So for all of you who don't know me, I've been a professional badminton player for 12 plus years. And back then we had 15 points best of 3 in the first round. So I remember the match vividly because, I'm explaining overconfidence issues to you, right? So 15 points best of 3, first game, my opponent was leading 7-love. And I still believe that, she's an unseeded player and she can never take the game from here. And the result? I lost terribly. She thrashed me out in 10 minutes. And to make matters worse, I didn't even realize that the game was over. Until I stepped off the court, I went off the arena, and that's where parents, coaches, and my doubles partner and all my teammates, they started imposing questions like, what happened to you? Why did you play like this? Or where was your focus? What was the score? That's where I realized, what just happened? Did I just lose the match? I was not even aware that I lost the match because I was so involved in myself. It was more of being self-obsessed. Now, the reason I'm sharing this story with you is because that day I lost the match because I was overconfident. And the root reason of me being overconfident were 3 main reasons. First, I previously won the competition, due to which I felt that, now I'm the queen of the court and, I can win all the competitions and surely I'm not going to lose in first round. So that was my overconfidence. Second, because I was a seeded player and playing against an unseeded player, I didn't do my homework. I just felt like, I can thrash it out in 10 minutes. And in reality, I got thrashed out in 10 minutes. And third thing, when I was competing, though my opponent was leading 7-love, I still had that overconfidence issue saying that, she's unseeded and she cannot take this from here and, the result. So yeah, this has been one of my stories where I have been overconfident. Now, coming back to the question, how to overcome overconfidence, most of you might have already experienced this in your life, or if you haven't experienced, you are pretty sure going to experience overconfidence throughout your sporting journey. So how do you overcome overconfidence? The number one solution to this is that you become aware that you are overconfident. Now, how do you become aware? You become aware by knowing what's happening inside your mind, okay? What's happening inside your mind before your competition? What are the thoughts that are running inside your mind before you are competing out there? For example, when I was competing and the story that I told you earlier, what was going on in my mind was that, I have been champion. I've won the previous tournament. So, this tournament I can easily take it. And, since I am seeded, she's an unseeded player, I don't have to do a lot of work. And even though while I was competing on the court, I still felt that, she's unseeded, so it doesn't really matter what is going to happen. I'm still going to take the game from here. So those were the thoughts that were running in my mind. So the number one thing is that you have to be aware of the thoughts that are running in your mind and the words that you are going to speak. Okay, because of the thoughts that were running in my mind, those were the same words that I was talking to my coach, and I told him to, go have lunch because, I'm playing against an unseeded player and it doesn't really matter, because I felt that I was at my peak performance from a confident perspective, but it was not from a confident perspective. And my behavior was being, clearly seen on the court while I was competing. That even though I was lagging 7 points, I still showed the attitude of, I'm the queen of the court and I don't give a about anyone. I can still go and win the match. So these were the thoughts, words, and my behavior that was being seen on the court that led me to the poor performance, or probably the worst game of my life. There is a very slim margin between being confident and overconfidence. That is like what you think about your opponent, and the way you're going to perceive the situation is going to determine whether you are confident or overconfident. There is a difference between thinking I don't give a about anybody and thinking that you are the king and the queen of the game, versus you thinking that I don't give a about anybody and you are focusing on your game plus you have done the homework about your opponents. There's a huge difference between these two. That is where there's a slim margin between being confident and overconfidence. So the bottom line of this topic, how do you overcome overconfidence, is that please pay attention to your thoughts. What I mean by this is please pay attention to that inner voice before your competition. This could be anywhere between 60 minutes before the competition or 24 hours before the competition. So that's all I got for you for today. Now I want to hear from you. Please let me know in the comment sections below. Have you experienced overconfidence? If yes, what was the outcome? If you found this video helpful, please do not forget to like and share. Until then, bye-bye, take care, and more powers to you.